This series the world was at peace, protected by a hero named Lee Gun, the strongest warrior on Earth. However, dark days came when he was killed by treacherous people who believed he could never return. They laughed at the thought of his comeback, but 20 years later, Lee Gun reappeared, much to everyone's shock. He looked at them, hinting at their guilt, and silently vowed to make them pay for their actions. At the beginning, the world faced an unimaginable disaster. Monstrous creatures emerged, destroying everything in their path. Humanity descended into chaos, confronting a powerful and mysterious being. The news reported that a mysterious civilization demanded, "Hand over your citizens if you want to live." The UN strongly refused, and the US warned that these monsters wanted to use humans as food. Humanity called these creatures disaster misfortunes. A giant monster rose from the sea. In desperation, humanity used nuclear weapons, but the monsters treated them like fireworks, dancing while destroying cities. People were dying and getting hurt. Just when all hope seemed lost, the 13 constellations appeared. Humanity named 12 chosen ones the saints, each bestowed with powers from holy gods. But there was a 13th, not chosen by any god, Lee Gun. To defeat the central red-eyed demon, Lee Gun led the saints to the demon's tower. They fought bravely, but only 12 saints returned. Reporters asked about Lee Gun, and the saints lied, saying he sacrificed himself for humanity. In truth, Lee Gun defeated the red-eyed demon, but the 12 saints abandoned him, and one even betrayed him, stabbing him in the back and leaving him in an inescapable trap filled with demons. Despite his injuries, his left arm cut off and his right arm barely functional, Lee Gun refused to give up. He picked up a dagger with his teeth and a sword with his right hand, fighting on. He vowed not to die until he avenged the betrayal. Before this, in a Korean chicken restaurant, Lee Gun's friend Hugo warned him not to go into battle, knowing Lee Gun might die. Lee Gun joked and ate chicken, but Hugo was angry and worried. Lee Gun reassured him, saying he had defeated more disaster misfortunes than all 12 saints combined. But Hugo still worried for his friend. It all began on the final day of the 20th century. Monsters called disaster misfortunes suddenly appeared, plunging humanity into chaos and fear. Then, 12 beings known as the Holy Gods appeared. They promised to share their power with humanity to help overcome this crisis and selected 12 people to receive their blessing. But something unexpected happened. A 13th person awakened without the blessing of any god. This 13th was so strong and powerful that he outshone the 12 saints. His name was Lee Gun. Hugo thanked Lee Gun, saying they could raid the demon's tower thanks to him. Lee Gun and Hugo were close friends. Lee Gun joked that if Hugo was thankful, he wanted 5 years' worth of fried chicken. Hugo laughed, wondering if Lee Gun ever got tired of fried chicken. Another saint, a woman, was happy because she thought they would be well rewarded for defeating the demon. A big man saint was excited too, hoping to earn at least $100 million. Lee Gun joked that he'd be happy with a 10-year free pass to a 7-star Hawaiian hotel. The saints laughed, though some thought Lee Gun was odd. The big man saint asked Lee Gun why he didn't demand a higher reward to negotiate better. He even teased Lee Gun about his appearance. Despite being called saints, these people were only in it for themselves. As they entered the demon's tower, they found the huge, fearsome red-eye demon. The saints were shocked and scared. The red-eye demon roared, shaking the whole tower. Fire erupted from the ground, and the saints floated in the air, terrified. Seeing the fiery pit below, they panicked and ran away. Only Lee Gun remained in front of the red-eye demon. Determined, he knew it didn't matter how powerful the demon was. He would be the one to defeat it. He grabbed his sword and leaped at the demon. But in the end, he was betrayed, stabbed in the back, and thrown into a trap. Trapped with countless demons, he continued to fight, never giving up. Despite losing his left arm and being surrounded, his will to survive was unbreakable. 20 years passed. Li Gun, now older, was still fighting. He finally killed the last demon in the trap. Exhausted, he realized it was over. As the underground trap began to collapse, he passed out. In present-day Korea, most buildings were destroyed by disaster demons. Two men were running from a demon wolf, fearing for their lives. As the wolf caught up, the tower gate suddenly opened, and a bright light exploded from it. A huge hole appeared in the middle of the road. From the rubble, a person emerged. It was Li Gun, finally free from the trap and tower. He was furious, remembering how the saints had betrayed him and left him to die. Now, he was back and ready to settle the score. The buildings were destroyed by an explosion caused by Li Gun. All the demon wolves were killed by him too. Two guys were watching this happen and were surprised to see Li Gun. Suddenly, Li Gun appeared in front of them. The two guys were shocked and scared of Li Gun. They couldn't believe a strong man like him could survive coming out of the demon tower. Then, the leader of the demon wolves appeared behind Li Gun. The two guys were terrified and thought they were going to die. The demon wolf leader shot fire from his mouth, ready to destroy everything. The two guys feared for their lives. There was a huge fire explosion in the middle of the road, but miraculously, the two guys survived. They were amazed to see that Li Gun had protected them from the huge fire explosion. Li Gun then jumped towards the demon wolf leader and knocked him down with just one punch. The two guys were stunned by Li Gun's strength. After defeating the demon, Li Gun asked the two guys to buy him some food. They were still afraid of Li Gun's power and strength. Li Gun ate a lot of food, surprising the two guys with how much he could eat. They couldn't believe their eyes. One of them asked Li Gun why he was so strong and if he was a Templar or bishop. They also wanted to know why Li Gun had come out of the tower. Li Gun explained that he had been inside the tower and was not a Templar or bishop. He revealed that he had gained his power on his own. An old man, who was actually a Templar, explained that Li Gun was like a Templar who had been blessed by a holy god. Li Gun became angry at the mention of holy gods, as he had obtained his power through his own means. Looking at his reflection in a spoon, Li Gun was shocked to see how handsome he looked now, with no scars on his face and perfectly fine hair. This was completely different from his appearance in his past life. Li Gun noticed a snake pattern on his left arm that hurt him. A message appeared, stating that Li Gun had experienced death and achieved the impossible. His existing stats and divine skills had been inherited by his new body. Feeling more powerful than ever, Li Gun realized this power came from a giant snake. Li Gun was surprised by what he saw, but then he found himself back in the restaurant. A young guy asked Li Gun how he was feeling. Li Gun wanted to show them the big snake, but all they saw was Li Gun staring at his reflection in the mirror and gripping his wrist. Li Gun saw messages indicating he was the owner of the constellation Ophiuchus and possessed super regeneration ability. He wondered if his fear and healed left arm were due to this skill. He had never heard of other saints experiencing anything like this before. Now, Li Gun pondered what to do next. His first thought was to find and eliminate the saints who had betrayed him. Reporters were concerned about the destroyed buildings and the collapsed demon tower. The tower was symbolic to Li Gun, and they speculated it could be the work of Li Gun's followers or saints who disliked him. They weren't sure exactly where this had happened, but they were aware that even high-class saints struggled to defeat the demon wolf leader who Li Gun had defeated. People began to believe that Li Gun had indeed returned alive, or that something extraordinary had happened. All they could do was wait and watch. In a building somewhere, many reporters asked Saint Yangwei about Li Gun's return and the collapse of the demon tower. He refused to answer any questions and left the stage. Yangwei was furious with the reporters and the news of Li Gun's return, which only made him angrier. He believed it was impossible for Li Gun to be alive, especially after facing thousands of demonic beasts inside the demon tower. All the saints, including Yangwei, had stolen the red-eye demon's throat, which Li Gun needed to survive. Additionally, Li Gun's body had already been severely damaged by the recoil from his own skills. Despite all this, Yang Wei couldn't shake his worry about Li Gun being alive and returning. Meanwhile, Li Gun made a call to someone. At the airport, many bodyguards welcomed St. Hugo. They were surprised by his handsome and majestic appearance. As Hugo sat in the car, he noticed his phone ringing. He thought it was probably reporters calling again and decided to ignore the calls. His thoughts drifted to Li Gun and memories of the past. Hugo had warned Li Gun not to go into battle, fearing he would die. However, Li Gun hadn't taken it seriously, and when they attacked the Devil's Tower, Hugo had left to combat the disaster demons outside at Li Gun's request. He had hoped his premonition about Li Gun's fate would prove wrong and that Li Gun would return safely. But in the end, Li Gun had died, betrayed by all the saints who took credit for his achievements. Hugo didn't know that these saints had betrayed Li Gun and stabbed him in the back. In the hospital, Hugo had tried to inquire about Li Gun's condition from one of the saints. He couldn't believe Li Gun was dead and had repeatedly asked to search for him. However, his requests were rejected, and he was given various reasons why he shouldn't pursue it. Eventually, Hugo had given up on finding Li Gun. Now, in the car, Hugo thought about how Li Gun was dead and everything was over. Suddenly, a phone call from the Prime Minister interrupted his thoughts. The Prime Minister informed Hugo about the collapse of the Demon Tower. Hugo was already tired of hearing such news repeatedly. He believed Li Gun had died in the Demon Tower and felt there was nothing he could do. However, the Prime Minister mentioned that Li Gun's phone line had suddenly become active earlier that day. This news surprised Hugo, and he remembered the recent missed call and voice message from Li Gun. He immediately checked the missed call and listened to the voice message. Hearing Li Gun's voice shocked and frightened him. Hugo stopped the car and decided to return to Korea. In a restaurant in Korea, Li Gun had called Hugo, but Hugo hadn't picked up, which made Li Gun angry. Li Gun marveled at how advanced smartphones had become in the last 20 years, as they didn't exist when he was last alive. He wanted to check the news about himself from the past 20 years and asked how to do so. Finding the news reporting his death and heroic sacrifice, along with the false stories about donating his wealth and relics to improve the country, enraged Li Gun. He smashed the phone, leaving its owner in tears. Li Gun realized that with his changed appearance, people would think he was crazy. He decided to keep a low profile for the time being. Suddenly, Li Gun sensed a surge of red energy outside and went to investigate. He found many avatars creating a barrier for the White Aries constellation, worshipping the holy gods. This angered Li Gun, and he was about to confront them when two people started bad-mouthing him without realizing he was there. These people were from the Gemini sect, and Li Gun's friends were concerned he might get into trouble with them. They tried to stop Li Gun, worried they would end up in a fight with the Gemini sect. Despite insults hurled at him by the Gemini guys, Li Gun managed to control his temper. As the Gemini guys left, still taunting him, Li Gun couldn't hold back and called them cockroaches. This infuriated the Gemini guys, and Li Gun was ready to fight them.